Hey guys, and welcome back to the last game recap of the AFLW fantasy season, as I don't cover the last round given that there's nothing really to go over. I mean, I could cover it, but I'd like to shift over to the next season a little bit, give myself a little bit of a break that week to be able to catch up on doing previews and stuff like that. Especially I have to do the 8 BBL previews and then line up the 18 other previews for the AFL Fantasy, which will come out in December. So I got that to do over the course of November and December, doing a lot of research about those two, etc. Those two 22 different videos, I believe, in the end, as well as just giving you updates on I know we've come out in the last couple of days with BBL content, but we're already starting to see stuff happen, shenanigans happen in terms of selections and also people being denied entry into the BBL, etc. I'll get into that into another video, but you can already hear shenanigans there, so I want to keep you guys up to date as much as I can with that stuff. So there'll probably be another video coming out in the next week or two when I have all the detail around injuries and people being not let go from other franchises, etc. But anyway, let's just jump into the AFLW fantasy content. O'Dwyer, 91. I did record this earlier, but it didn't record the right screen. And yeah, O'Dwyer, from memory, is averaging about 55 for the year, down from like a 68, if I remember correctly. Yes, I do. Yes, so just not fantasy relevant, simple as that. Conway, a 90. It's been up and down this year, and so yeah, definitely isn't one that I'd suggest. I mean, you could bring her in, but then again, who does she have in the final round? Let me actually check who she has in the final round, because I don't think they have necessarily the easiest game, if I remember correctly. They've got St Kilda. That's probably not the easiest game. If I was to target a fixture, the thing is, you really want Kate Hoare, but she's going to be so hard to get to. You probably want to target the North Melbourne girls, not going to lie, for that North Melbourne fixture against Gold Coast in the final round, as Lucy Single's going to be there, but I just would much rather have a Jazzy Gardner or a Riddell there. And then you could target. Port don't really have any girls though that you really want to target, so maybe you go a Schultz to maybe you go like a Strom to a Schultz or something like that and really try and target that. But then again, Freo have, where is it here? Freo have Edmund, so the Strom, yeah, so it's kind of hard, but we'll go through that tomorrow with the trade targets. Conway, I don't really like that matchup, as I said, against St Kilda, to be honest, as much, even though watch it say here that her best scoring team is against St Kilda. No, one of her worst. Only played them once for a 50, so I take that, even though it's one game, take it as it will. I'm not picking her up. Smith, 89. She's had up and down. She's had about 2 or 3 games that she's been good in. Dawes, 85. Anderson, 85. She's also now down to a 101.6, which when you remove the 161 from her system, it's now only a 95 for the year, just showing that she isn't really up there in the top echelon of those sort of players, and she's sort of in that sort of 90s range. She just had that one freak game. Campbell, Savart, Ryder with a 78. She's one that I could target with all the injuries in the back line or potential injuries. Ellinger, 73. Hickey, Mullins with a 70. She's also someone I've heard people targeting potentially. I mean, she did better than the likes of a Cynthia Hamilton, who I had. Postlewaite, Savart, Cohen, Heslop, Dunn. Hodder with a 37 as well is sort of surprising here. 1 kick, 11 handballs for a 37, only 2 tackles. Maybe she bounces back against St Kilda. That could be an interesting one game pitch there for those who are looking for pods, which will probably be most of the trade targets video, to be honest with you. Davidson, Hartle, and Long. And then we go over to Sydney and Gardner on an 82. She's probably one that next year will be interesting, given that she's going to be priced at about 15 points less. Could be interesting as well if they do go for someone, if they do go for more experienced in that midfield and really bring in a big player. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I don't know whether it will happen, but I hope it does. And yeah, that could free up Laura Gardner a lot more, because she's facing a lot more tags, and I don't think they would tag her if 1, Malloy's back, and 2, they bring in another player that's a lot more damaging, I would say, as Gardner's more of a is more of a just large tank, sort of just get the ball, get it out of stoppage, etc. And doesn't really damage. It's not as damaging with the ball in her hands as much. Head 67, just put her in the back line. Simple as that. Stop her being on the wing. She's still on the wing a little bit, but yeah, just need her in the back line, to be honest. And that should happen next year a little bit more, with more development from other youngsters, as well as the draftees that they have. They have an academy girl, that's Gunica, I think it is. I think I've said it 3 or 4 times and messed it up all 3 or 4 times. But yeah, she's coming in, and I believe she's a winger, so it should help them out. McAvoy, 65. Hurley, 62. Hurley definitely has slowed down. Probably wouldn't be jumping on her anymore, especially with Gardner back. So yeah, she's one that will probably go into the watch list next year, but yeah, just not at this point now. Hamilton and Privatelli, 62. Hamilton, 59. I don't know how much time she spent on ball. Watch it be 0%, and I've just been absolutely stuffed. She spent 13% on ball, 84% tog for a 59. I just want to check, how did she go into big... I'll be actually really annoyed if she scored all of her points early on and then did nothing late on. 21 in the first, 2 in the second, 10 in the third, and then 26 in the last. So got on the board early and then slowed down, and then had a big last quarter to really solidify a decent score, not a damaging score, I'd put it at. Kennedy with a 58, Hamilton 54, Monham with a 54. I want to see how much time did she spend on ball, because this is a crucial watch, because she was supposed to break out this year and she just didn't. 31% again. It's a little bit annoying that she's having 31 and 25 to 30% on ball. Would like to see that up a little bit, but I mean it is rough for her at the moment. But yeah, she's having good games in the VFLW. Just yeah. Need to see her on ball, and I hope that's sort of something that happens next year, as she can be really damaging when playing on ball. Tarrant, Whelan, and you just see the soft, I would say, underbelly of the Swans squad at the moment, with Moffat and also Malloy out at the moment. You've got Whelan, Smith, Lachlan, Steen, Shepherd, even like Maddie Collier as well. Maddie Collier's also suspended as well, so that probably means that they will shift Cooper back into the starting lineup, I would suspect, and have probably Ella Heads back in the back line. I'm hoping. Just please put her in the back line. Simples. But yeah, you see that sort of difference between the sides here. Like, the role players for Brisbane are Savak, Conan, Postlethwaite, Mullins, Ellinger, Hodder, etc. And then you look over at Sydney, and it's like, it's just sort of they're not as good. And I think that's the big difference between the good sides and the bad sides. Like, you look at North Melbourne and you're like, that midfield, and then you go, well, they don't even play, like, Tripodi's a really good midfield, don't even play her that much. Bruton doesn't even play on ball anymore at the moment. Vicky Wall, etc. They have so many girls that are just there that you're like, how is they not starting in... Like, they're not even starting in their preferred position. And then they lose someone and you think, oh, they're gonna fall down a little bit. Nope, someone else just pops up. It's so ridiculous how good they are. And yeah, the Swans are just sort of... They're really young at the moment, which is sort of expected. And they'll develop into a decent side, I have a feeling. But yeah, at the moment, their role players are getting found out, I'd put it like that. But anyway, that pretty much is the video. There's not much fantasy relevant, I would say. Heads maybe, Heads and McAvoy maybe, because maybe you take a 1 week punt on them, probably. But other than that, maybe Hodder, just because she's really cheap. Maybe you go there. I would think she's cheap, but yeah, I don't think there's many players that you'd want to take a stab at in the last week, given Sydney look absolutely horrific, and Sydney have also got... Sydney have West Coast, which should be achievable. So I would say McAvoy could be a good pod option for the week. And also could be... Tanya Kennedy probably has a tag on the likes of Ella Roberts. So you could potentially look at Tanya Kennedy as a midfielder. But then again, she hasn't really had any big games, has she? She's sort of been in and around that sort of 60 to 80 marker a lot, hasn't she? 68. And you have one big 100. And other than that, she hasn't really scored that well. So probably wouldn't jump on that anyway. So yeah, not much fancy relevance out of these two squads at the moment from what I'm seeing with 1 round to go. But if you did enjoy that video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and I will see you guys tomorrow for all of the main videos of leading into round 10. So I'll see you guys then. Bye, guys.